Hi there! Home Assistant support tags which are really handy to trigger automations. For instance, you can trigger a song to play, check in and out of your house, or arm and disarm your alarm system. When I created my alarm system in Home Assistant, I really missed an option to arm and disarm this with tags. In this video I will show you how you can build a perfect NFC tag reader and use it to control your alarm system. I have been using my Home Assistant alarm system for several years now, and I must say that I'm quite satisfied with it. There's only one thing that bothered me. That was that I always had to switch the alarm system on and off via the Home Assistant dashboard. That does not work well for the wife acceptance factor, because it was difficult for my children and the household help. I would prefer to use a tag reader that hangs near my door. With this, I can easily switch the alarm system on and off by moving a tag along it and when I leave or enter the house. My old dumb alarm system did have this and it worked really well. I would also like to give separate tags to my children and the household help so that I can immediately see who set the alarm and what time they came home or left. So let's build a perfect NFC tag reader in Home Assistant. I searched online for a tag reader that is compatible with Home Assistant, but was unsure whether I was buying the right device. During my search, I came across this site, which contained a schematic and ESP home code to build a tag reader myself. All the credits go to this awesome guy, Andrea Donno, who created this and made it possible to build your own NFC tag reader. I also happen to like to tinker, so I thought, let's do this. Here's the shopping list to build the NFC tag reader. I ordered all the parts online. See the links to the parts in the description below. What you need is an ESP8266 D1 Mini, a PN532 NFC reader, a WS2812 LED module, a buzzer, and some extra DuPont cables. The diagram looks like this. The D1 Mini is the central heart of the tag reader. This is the mini computer that reads the signals from all the components and controls the components. On the D1 Mini I soldered some connector pins so that I could easily connect the DuPont cables to it to test everything. After everything is tested and working properly, I will solder the cables directly to the D1 Mini. Let's build the NFC tag reader. From the NFC reader, the ground, voltage, serial data line and serial clock are connected to the D1 Mini. I did that with the 4 DuPont cables that came with the NFC reader. Yes, I know I didn't use the correct colors for the voltage and ground. Of course, it should have been red and black, but I didn't have them available at that time. Sorry. To make everything work, set the dip switches on the NFC reader as follows. Switch 1 is set to on and switch 2 is set to off. This enables the NFC reader to communicate with the D1 Mini over I2C and is required for the modules to work together. After connecting the NFC reader to the D1 Mini, we also connect the LED module. We will create an automation later so that the LED turns off when the alarm is turned off, it turns red when it's turned on, and it flashes orange during the time you walk out or come in and still have to turn off the alarm. In addition, we connect a buzzer to the D1 Mini so that a sound is played when the alarm is activated or turned off. What's really cool is that we can even play whole melodies through this buzzer. I've just created a beep tone, but you can also play a whole symphony on it if you like. We're not going to do this, but you can do it. Let's start programming the D1 Mini using ESP Home. ESP Home is a system to control your ESP8266 or your ESP32 by simple yet powerful configuration files and control them remotely through home automation systems. The entire list of devices that you can control with ESP Home is on this page. There are different types of components such as air quality meters, distance meters, electricity meters, motion sensors, light meters and much more. For each component you will find the configuration example that you can use when programming your ESP board. These configuration files set to which pins of your ESP board your component is connected so that it can be controlled via Home Assistant. I can imagine that this all sounds very challenging, but if you tinker with the sample files a bit, it quickly becomes clearer. I'm not going to get too deep into ESP Home right now, but let me know in the comments if you want to learn more about it. Then maybe I'll make a video about it in the future. To build the NFC Tag reader, Andrea Donno has made a very nice configuration script that contains a lot of functionalities that you can use in Home Assistant. I had to tweak it a little bit to make sure it worked well with my automations in Home Assistant. Now, let's start programming the D1 Mini. To begin with, we need to make sure that ESP Home is installed in Home Assistant. I already installed it, but here's how you can install it. Go to Settings, Add-ons, and click on Add-on Store. Now search for ESP Home. Open it and click Install. Now check all the options and click Start. You should see ESP Home in your menu bar on the left. Click ESP Home in the menu and the web UI will launch. You may get a 502 error. That means that ESP Home is still starting up. So feel free to try again after a few seconds. As you can see, I have already installed a number of ESP devices in my environment. We are now going to add the tag reader. If you want to make prototypes or low volumes of your electronics project, go to my sponsor PCBWay. PCBWay is a one-stop shop for all your electronics projects. As one of the most experienced PCB manufacturers and SMT assemblers, they can supply various PCBs, 3D print, assemble PCBs and even design your own PCBs. So go to PCBWay to have your PCBs produced at competitive prices. First, we are going to adjust the configuration file so that our Wi-Fi data is in it. I changed the original file of Andrea Donno a bit because of the automations that I'm going to create later in this tutorial. That's why you need to download the configuration file from my GitHub. You can also use Andrea Donno's original file, but then my automation won't work quite right. You can download the configuration file from this site. The link is in the description below. Now edit the config in the text editor to make sure your Wi-Fi SSID and Wi-Fi password are correct. Remove the hashtags and enter your Wi-Fi SSID name and password. Now go back to ESP Home. Click on New Device and then click on Continue. Give your device a name. In my case, I enter Tag Reader here. Now choose ESP8266 on the next screen and click Next. You will now see that a new device has been added to ESP Home. Don't click Install yet because we still need to enter the configuration code. Now click on Skip. Now click on Edit and replace the code you see with the code you just downloaded and modified. Then click on Save and then click on Close. Now let's validate the code first. Click on the three dots within your tag reader card and then on Validate. If everything went well, if you scroll up, you will see a message at the top of the screen that the configuration is valid. Now it's time to connect your D1 Mini to your computer or directly to the Home Assistant server via a data micro USB cable. It's way easier to install it if you connect your D1 Mini to your Home Assistant server, so I recommend you to do that. Please note that your USB cable is really a data micro USB cable and not just a power cable. And don't worry, you only have to do this once. After flashing the D1 Mini, it will connect via Wi-Fi. You do not have to connect it to your Home Assistant server using a cable anymore. Now let's flash the D1 Mini. Click on Install. Depending on what you have connected your D1 Mini to, you choose the right option. In my case, it is connected to my Home Assistant server, so I choose Plug into the computer running ESP Home dashboard. ESP Home will now flash the D1 Mini with the configuration image. This might take some time, so grab yourself a cup of coffee in the meantime. Oh, by the way, if my videos help you and if you want to keep up to date with my tutorials and not miss anything to increase your knowledge of Home Assistant and Smart Home, subscribe to my channel and tick the bell. It also helps if you post a comment. This way more people get notified about my videos. Oh, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for this video. This allows me to make more tutorials for you. Thank you. After the installation is finished, you should now see that the D1 Mini is connected. You can test whether your tag reader works by holding a tag in front of the reader and seeing if you get a response on the lock screen. Now, if you go back to ESP Home, you will see a new green card with the tag reader information. Click on Adopt, click on Adopt again, and sometimes it will not get online immediately, so then you can click on Install again, but in my case it's online, so I'm going to say Skip. And now I can delete the old card. Click on the three dots, click on Delete and Delete. And now I have my tag reader running in ESP Home. We are now going to make sure that we can arm and disarm our Home Assistant alarm system with the tag reader. Go to Home Assistant, go to Settings, Devices and Services. You should now see that a new ESP Home device has been found. Click Configure on the found device and click Submit. You should now hear a beep on your tag reader. That means everything went well. Choose an area for your tag reader and click Finish. Let's rename the tag reader first. To do this, go to Tag Reader with a number and click on Device. Click on the pencil and name the tag reader, in my case tag reader. Rename the entity names as well. When you bought the components, 2 tags are included with the tag reader. We will now first register them in Home Assistant. To do this, go to Settings and then go to Tags. Now hold your tag close to the tag reader. If all went well, Home Assistant should now recognize your tag and see it appear in the list of tags. Click on the gear icon next to the tag and give the tag a name. For example, Tag 1. I already have a Tag 1, so I will now call it Tag 2. If I hold the tag near the NFC Tag reader, you will see that it lights up in the overview. So it works. We are now going to create the automations for our NFC Tag reader. I assume that you have installed my alarm system first, but this also works with Alarmo as long as you use the correct arming states in the automations. Go to Settings, Automations and Scenes. I have already made the automations and will walk you through them one by one. By the way, you can also download the code of these automations from my website. See the link in the description below this video. So I'm going to filter my automations on tag, and I have 2 automations. One is called Tag Arm and Disarm Alarm and the other one is Tag Reader Set LED Color. So let's go to the first one. So what you see here is a name, and what is important here is that the mode is Restart. Then when we go to triggers, you see that I defined 2 triggers. And there is a little bug in Home Assistant at this moment that is not showing the tag here, but the tag is there. If you look into YAML, you see that the tag ID is there. So it is working, and now it changed it to tag 1, so that's interesting. And this one is tag 2, so I have 2 triggers. Unfortunately, we cannot group tags at the moment. And that's something that would be nice to have in the future, so you can make, for instance, a group of tags for your children. Now, we go to the actions, and what we see here is an if-then action. If the state of home alarm is disarmed, then arm the alarm, else call service, disarm the alarm. And I have a code that I need to disarm the alarm. In this case is 1234. Obviously that's the test code. So this automation arms and disarms the alarm based on the state of the alarm and if a tag is discovered. Now let's save this and let's go to the other automation. That is Tag Reader Set LED Color. Again, this automation has a name, Tag Reader Set LED Color. It's again mode Restart, which is really important here. Then we go to the triggers. I'm making use of trigger IDs here. If you don't know what trigger IDs are, watch my video about trigger IDs. The link is in the description below. So the first trigger is if our home alarm has the state armed away, then do something, trigger ID is armed away. The second one is if our home alarm has the status disarmed, then do something. The third one is if our home alarm has the status arming, then do something. And the fourth one is if our home alarm has the status pending, then do something. Then we go to the actions. We're starting with the choose action, and we're going to test all our trigger IDs. So if our trigger is disarmed, then turn off the tag reader LED. Option 2 is if it's triggered by armed away, then caller service light dot turn on tag reader LED. Give it the color red, so it is armed and the LED is now red. Then option 3, it has an OR condition. If the trigger is arming or pending, then do a repeat action until the state of home alarm is armed away. So this is the time between arming the alarm and actually when the alarm is armed. Then we are going to flash the orange LED. So we're going to say here until home alarm is armed away, then call the service light turn on orange, then call the service ESP home tag reader play RTTTL, which is playing a sound, and then you have a song string that you have to send. I'm not going to dive too deep into those song strings, you can look it up yourself. Then wait 1 second, then turn off the LED, wait for time to pass and wait 1 second again. And because of the fact that this is a repeat, it will blink every second until the state is armed away. Those were the 2 automations that we need to create to get our alarm going together with our tag reader. Now it's finally time to test our NFC tag reader to see if it works with the alarm system. Grab your tag and hold it close to the tag reader. You will see that the alarm system jumps to arming, that a beep comes out of the speaker and that the LED starts flashing orange. When the arming time is over, you will see that the LED lights up red. If you now hold the tag in front of the tag reader again, you will see that the alarm is disarmed. The LED will now go out. If movement is detected while the alarm system is armed, you will see that the alarm system gets the status pending and that the LED starts flashing orange. During this state, you can disarm the alarm by holding the tag in front of the tag reader again. The alarm is then deactivated before it actually goes off. If the alarm goes off, you can also disarm it by holding the tag in front of the tag reader. And finally, the LED and the speaker also respond if you do not use a tag reader, but the alarm is armed and disarmed via the alarm panel on the Home Assistant dashboard. I'd like to say that all the credits go to Andrea Donno for creating the initial code and the scheme of the tag reader. If you do not want to build the NFC tag reader yourself, you can also buy the NFC tag reader ready-made on the site of Andrea Donno. The link is in the description below. The only thing is that I have now created a problem for myself. I'm afraid that I now have to buy a 3D printer to build a nice box around this NFC tag reader. But yes, if you're going to make multiple ESP home devices, a 3D printer is quite a good addition to your smart home. Do you have any advice for a good 3D printer? Please let me know in the comments, because I don't know anything about it yet. I hope this video gave you some ideas to use a tag reader and possibly build it yourself. Let me know in the comments if it worked. Your support allows me to make new videos all the time. You can support me by becoming my patron, buying me a cup of coffee or joining this channel. The links for this can be found in the description of this video. Oh, and you can also check my website at smarthomejunkie.net. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and check the bell. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.